In the name of Allah, the most merciful and most gracious, Your Excellencies, our dear partners and guests, ladies and gentlemen, peace and blessings be with you all. May Allah bless your time with goodness, education, and knowledge. Today we gather to write a vision that goes far beyond the clouds and to draw unlimited ambitions. Today we gather in a new chapter of culture and education. Under the leadership of our leader and father, His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al-Qasimi, member of the Supreme Federal Council, ruler of Sharjah, may Allah keep him safe, our exceptional leader, the owner of the message of culture, who made education and building human capabilities the base for the development and progress of the Emirate of Sharjah. Our dear partners and guests, during your presence, your valued presence today, it is our pleasure to launch from the highest peak and amongst all the clouds the strategy of SPEA, Sharjah Private Education Authority, for the year 2022-2024, to make private education one of the most important gates towards comprehensive and sustainable development in the United Arab Emirates and in Sharjah Emirate, towards a developed life that takes us up the ladder of the coming 50 years. Kindly allow me to invite you all to watch a video now under the title, A Vision That Goes Beyond the Clouds.
تنطلق استراتيجيتنا في هيئة الشارقة للتعليم الخاص من رؤى ملؤها الإيمان بالغد الواثق الذي يرعاه قائد ووالد ملهم علمنا أن الإنسان هو المحور الأول لعملنا، وأن رهاننا سيظل على الطاقة والثروة البشرية في البناء والاستدامة والتقدم، وأن القمم تليق بمن يطاولها ويسعى إلى بلوغها. ومن أعلى القمم نطلق استراتيجيتنا الطموحة لجعل التعليم الخاص واحداً من أهم بوابات التنمية الشاملة والمستدامة في دولة الإمارات وإمارة الشارقة، متماشين مع استراتيجيته لحياة تصعد بنا إلى سلم إنجازات الأعوام القادمة. ننطلق قدما ملهمين بحرص والدنا مربي الأجيال، ونواصل المسير واثقين برؤيته الثاقبة التي ستضمن مستقبلا واعدا تماما كما السحب التي تتناثر في سمائنا وتغدق علينا كل عام خيراتها. نمضي باستراتيجيتنا إلى 3 أعوام قادمة، وبالتحديد 2024، إذ سنعزز فيه جودة حياة مجتمعنا التعليمي، عاملين على نشر ثقافة الابتكار والإبداع والتعلم المستمر. عام سيشهد وصولنا إلى قمة جديدة بالإنسان الذي يجمع بين العلم والمهارة والمعرفة، نسطر فيه قصة نجاح شاركنا فيها المعلم المقتدر والموهوبون وذوي الاحتياجات، وشركاء محليون وعالميون سيضيفون لنا ونضيف لهم، وبيئة مثالية جاذبة واستباقية سنخلقها بالاستثمار في التعليم الذي سيكون الأنجح والأفضل والأجدى. مع استراتيجيتنا سنكتب عناوين الحلقة القادمة للتعليم الخاص، عناوين تجود كما تجود السحب، متحدين متآلفين كفريق واحد، نسرد قصة التآلف والتكاتف خلال السنوات القادمة، مجسدين روح المنتمين إلى هذا المجال. فمعا سنصنع حياة أجود وأجمل، ومعا سنبني مدارس صديقة للطفل، ومعا سندمج ونجمع الجميع تحت سقف واحد. معا ستصبح كوادرنا التعليمية الأفضل عالميا. معا سنجعل العالم يؤمن في تعليمنا ويستثمر فيه. معا سنصل إلى أعلى مستويات الرضا. معا سنجمع شركاء الحياة، المدارس والجامعات وسوق العمل وشركاء المعرفة. معا ستصبح الرقمنة عنوان المرحلة القادمة. معا من أجل شارقة تعانق السحب.
The strategy of SPEA 2022-2024 is an extension of the vision of our Father Sultan. And through this vision, we will make humans reach a new climax. A climax that combines education, knowledge, and skill. And to write a story of success outlined by a capable teacher who has an exceptional experience, and the talented and the people of determination. And through the collaboration of all parties, we can invest in education that will become the best and most effective, God willing. We would now like to welcome Her Excellency Muhadditha Al-Hashimi, Head of Sharjah Private Education Authority, SPEA, and President of Sharjah Academy of Education, and also to welcome His Excellency Ali Al-Hosani, Director of SPEA, and Dr. Ahmed Sha'ban to speak in this conference that is dedicated to launch the strategy. Would you please allow me now to invite Her Excellency Dr. Muhadditha Al-Hashimi to speak about the framework of SPEA's strategy. Would you kindly proceed to stage, Your Excellency? His Excellency Dr. Al-Suwaidi, Head of the Advisory Council. His Excellency Brother Muhammad Al-Mulla, General Secretary of Sharjah Education Council. Your Excellencies and Principals of Sharjah Private Schools and the family of Sharjah Private Education. Peace and blessings be with you all. I'd like to welcome you all here, and I totally appreciate your valued presence here with us today. As today we're going to witness the launching of SPEA's strategy. As this is the second cycle of SPEA's strategy launch. Our event is really a special event because it comes during the period of recovery from the pandemic COVID-19 that has stopped people, or at least limited people, from communication. However, it did not stop us from achieving our goals. We've chosen this specific place as an evidence that from the climax and from the top of all the clouds, we assure you that we will continue in our achievements with full dedication and to fulfill all the expectations of the Royal Decree number 45 for the year 2018. Stated by and approved by His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, member of the Supreme Federal Council and ruler of Sharjah. May Allah keep him safe and blessed. To establish SPEA. SPEA is considered the local authority that is concerned with regulating the affairs of private educational institutions in the Emirate of Sharjah. The first cycle of the strategy was launched in 2019. To the year 2021. The first cycle has focused on the establishment of SPEA and its vision, mission, and objectives, with its activities and initiatives to raise the level of education in the Emirate of Sharjah. We gather today to celebrate the achievements of the first cycle. And one of the most important achievements is the initiatives launched by His Highness. One of these initiatives is the initiative under the title of My School is More Beautiful. And we have dedicated more than 50 million dirhams to beautify the school or different schools and their premises. And another initiative under the title Your Sons and Daughters Are in Secure Hands. And this initiative is to ensure that all the students, boys and girls, are ride safely in school buses the minute they leave their houses, head into school, and until the end of the day when they get back to their homes safely. And also to provide fresh water to schools and nurseries and kindergartens for free. And we have also, thank God, have already appointed the first group of the Arabic teachers. and Islamic teachers as part of the Qualified Teacher Program, who will later on be appointed to teach in the private schools of Sharjah. And we also launched the program entitled I Am a Teacher and I Am Proud, as well as the launching of Sharjah Academy of Education, to highlight the importance of the role of the teacher and the great impact they can leave on their students. Dear sisters and brothers, congratulations on launching all of these initiatives. We would like to thank the endeavors of everybody and also our strategic partners. Without your sincere dedication and determination and honest determination, we couldn't have achieved all of these successes, especially during the pandemic. Our esteemed guests, you might wonder why we have chosen this place. We have chosen this place, Khorfakan, for its significance. Today, from Khorfakan, we announce the launch of the second cycle of SPEA's strategy, coming 3 years, 2022 until 2024. The strategy was drafted by His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, member of the Supreme Federal Council and ruler of Sharjah. May Allah bless him. This clear vision that is based on empowering humans and enabling them and also upscaling them. The strategy of SPEA goes in alignment with the strategy and the vision of the Emirate of Sharjah. This strategy is based on the guidebook of the analysis of education. Moreover, we based our strategy on the guidebook of education analysis that was issued by UNESCO, which is based by education value chain that is developed by Professor Dr. Michael Cotter, who is an expert in strategic planning. This is basically to achieve competitiveness and capability in the field of education. And this strategy acts as a roadmap to all the private educational institutions in the Emirate of Sharjah, whose work that is linked whether directly or indirectly to the work of SPEA. And also the strategy seeks distinguishment in education and knowledge to all the private education institutions and also all the strategic partners, in addition to the students, parents, educational and school staff, and also administrative staff, and whoever works for the private education sector in the Emirate of Sharjah. The strategy here in the second cycle has four strategic priorities in the field of private education. The first priority is to enhance the quality of the life of educational community. And the second priority is to enhance the trust in the quality of education. The third priority comes as spreading out the culture of innovation, creativity, and continuous education. And the fourth priority is to encourage the competitiveness in the Emirate of Sharjah in the field of education. And for us to achieve all the priorities, we have identified 6 main objectives. The first objective is to upscale the personal skills, life skills, knowledge skills for all the learners. The second objective is to enhance and to work on the development of all the educational capabilities to make sure that we are providing a very exceptional educational experience. The third objective is to look after the individual differences between different types, tiers, and categories of students, and to make sure that the people of determination are also included, and also to care for the gifted and talented. The fourth objective is to enhance the participation among the local and international entities. The following objective is to provide an attractive educational environment, and the last objective is to support and encourage investment in the field of education in the Emirate. These objectives go with the vision, mission, objectives, and strategy of the Emirate in the following stage. We're gathering and waiting to see the outcome, exactly like when we see all the clouds in the sky gather to allow the blissful rain to fall. I wish you all the success, and I wish you all to stay always on the climax of success that suits all of you. Thank you again for your presence. Peace and blessings be with you all. All thanks and appreciation for the kind word presented by Her Excellency Dr. Muhadditha Al-Hashimi. We in the Emirate of Sharjah are always proud of all the efforts and endeavors which show big leaps in the educational system to reach the climax of knowledge that represent the Emirate of Sharjah. Now it is my pleasure to invite His Excellency Dr. Ali Al-Hawsani, Director of SPEA, to give his speech, to speak to us about the promise of SPEA. So would you please come to stage, sir? In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious. Excellency Muhaddith Al-Hashimi, Chairperson of SPEA. Your Excellency Ali Aswadi, Head of the Sharjah Advisory Council. Excellency Muhammad Al-Mullah, Secretary of SPEA. Esteemed guests, my colleagues from SPEA, peace and blessings be with you all. The city of Khor-Fakkan is pleased to welcome you all. It is honored with your esteemed presence and your valued participation. And we, members of SPEA, are proud of your presence and your participation in today's conference. And we would like to welcome you all to the second cycle of SPEA's strategy launch. And through this strategy, we are going to follow up on the mechanism of achieving a distinguished education throughout the embodiment of the vision of SPEA and following the steps of our first leader, of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi, member of the Supreme Federal Council and ruler of Sharjah. May Allah bless him and keep him safe. We are meeting here in the Clouds Lounge in Khor-Fakkan to share the distinguished information regarding the launch of the second cycle of SPEA's strategy. It's characterized by being distinguished. Strategy provides distinguished and high quality education to embody the vision of SPEA, guided by the vision of our first leader, His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi, member of the Supreme Federal Council and ruler of Sharjah. May Allah bless him and keep him safe. Hence, our meeting here, all of us today in the Clouds Lounge in Khor-Fakkan, comes in alignment with the distinguished vision that is going hand in hand with the strategy of SPEA in its second cycle, to transfer the preliminary vision into action and precise plans that will transfer education in the private sector in the Emirate of Sharjah into a real investment in the capabilities of humans. We have already started, as Her Excellency Dr. Muhadditha Al-Hashimi stated already. Strategy includes 5 stages. The first stage is to study the current situation, then putting the 4 strategies as the priority or the strategic priorities of SPEA. Then we have translated those priorities into 6 main objectives, guided by the 4 main drivers or priorities, to finally create the framework of SPEA for the years 2022-2024. With the launch of the second cycle of SPEA's strategy, please allow me to share my teamwork, the launch of the promise of SPEA, building human capability, the axis towards which the educational process revolves, encouraging knowledge and learning throughout the generations, providing high quality of educational services that would feed the need of the educational community, providing more opportunities in the field of education, providing curriculum and activities that would suit and would be fit for future skills and needs, providing a safe, healthy, and productive environment for education that is fit for all. A professional staff, educational staff that is characterized by the best standards of ethics and professionalism, providing services in collaboration with community sectors. Ask Allah, the most superior and gracious, to make us fulfill this promise. Here I would like to extend my deepest thanks to all the members of the team. Also, I would like to thank all the educational partners and our partners from the educational institutions. Also the private schools, nurseries, and kindergartens, and also all the educational institutions. I'd like to thank them for their keen and sincere determination to fulfill all the objectives of private education. And I'm sure that together we will continue to achieve the objectives of our strategies for the years 2022-2024. So I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you, Your Excellency Ali Al-Husani, for all you have aforementioned, and also our sincere thanks to all the principals and administrators of all the administrations. Now we will leave the microphone to Dr. Ahmed Shaban, an expert in the field of institutional excellence and distinguishment. At SPIA, you may thankfully speak. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious, Your Excellencies, the esteemed and valued audience, Excellency Chairperson of SPIA, Your Excellency Dr. Muhaddith Al-Hashimi, Your Excellency Ali Al-Husani, Director of SPIA, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and colleagues from SPIA, peace and blessings be with you all. I would like to welcome you all from the top of the sky, from the clouds, from this distinguished place, from the top of one of the highest peaks in the Emirate of Sharjah, the smiling and the promising Sharjah, here from the top of the clouds in the Clouds Lounge. And as stated by Her Excellency Muhadditha Al-Hashimi and by His Excellency Ali Al-Husani, who have already mentioned the idea beyond choosing this special place and the significance of the choice of this place during the second cycle of SPIA's strategy launch. Here, our team, by the heart and the soul, seeks to reach the peak here in our beloved Emirate of Sharjah. Today we gather to discuss the educational system in Sharjah, and especially the private education or educational system. Maintain education in Sharjah at its highest peaks. Kindly allow me to cast the light on some of the pivotal points that were just mentioned to make it crystal clear in the minds of all the audience and the attendees. We are collaborating our efforts to achieve 4 strategic priorities. It's really important to reiterate the 4 main strategic priorities. The first one is to enhance the quality of life of the educational community, to enhance and to maintain the trust in the quality of education, to spread the culture of creativity, innovation, and continuous learning, to encourage the competitiveness of Sharjah in the field of education. And again, we are working on achieving 6 main objectives. The first one is to enhance the educational capabilities. The second one is to provide an exceptional educational experience or learning experience, to develop personal life and knowledge skills for our sons and daughters, while looking after all the individual differences of the different tiers of students. Also to ensure the enhancement of the inclusion of students of educational needs, and also as well as the talented, gifted and talented, in a way that enhances the special collaboration and partnership with private, local and international educational institutions, the light of establishing an attractive and unprecedented environment for education, which will lead to well-being and prosperity in our beloved Emirate Sharjah. This will be achieved through four main drivers. The first driver is the governance, maintenance and efficiency of private education, making the best use of data through digital enablers and continuous advancement and improvement. There is also a very important point that I would like to pay your attention to in the second cycle of the strategy. You, our esteemed audience, and also this is directed to all the partners and those who care for education or private education in the Emirate of Sharjah. I would like to pay your attention that this framework of SPEA's strategy includes a group of ambitious indicators. These indicators are not only relevant to SPEA, they are also relevant to the educational or the private educational sector in the Emirate of Sharjah. The only motivation and true mechanism to follow up on and to monitor these indicators practically will be achieved through collaborative work. The persistent and honest joint work from all the concerned entities and also from every single member who works for this sector of private education in the Emirate of Sharjah. Without this sincere collaboration, we wouldn't be here today, standing on the climax, on the peak, and without which we cannot achieve our ambitious vision to reach a distinguished level of education. Yes, it is true that these indicators will not be completely achieved up to the level of the percentages that we are going to display here now. As we all collaborate and gather our efforts from our hearts, and together we cannot achieve these goals unless we work hand in hand. Therefore, we are completely sure that all the parties are going to work collaboratively and closely in the coming period of time as one team and as one body that would support and benefit each other in all the private schools, nurseries, KGs, and also all the private institutions. And all the educational institutions will raise the motto, together we can achieve distinguished education. And from here and through this place, please allow me to reiterate the importance of putting the objectives of the year 2024 right in front of our eyes and in our minds. This year, 2024, will be the year indicated by the performance indicators to achieve the targets and the percentages of the strategy. So we only have 3 years. Yes, indeed, there are only 3 years to achieve the standards and the objectives, and to make sure that we are raising the level of private education in the Emirate of Sharjah. It is important to use all our powers, innovations, and capabilities to achieve the goals and the targets of these ambitious indicators. And we are full of trust in your endeavors. And through the coming period of the 3 coming years, we are sure that we can achieve this together. And we are sure that we can make this clear and distinguished and very bright difference from here, from the top of the clouds in this distinguished place. Please allow me to display these indicators as we are looking forward to achieving them and the targets by the end of the year 2024. We are looking forward to achieve the targets of 8 ambitious indicators. The first indicator is to achieve 80%, at least 80% of the standards of the quality of education and life in the educational community or in the community of education. The second indicator is to achieve at least 70% of the quality of education provided in the educational institutions, according to the accredited assessment frameworks. And indicator number 3 is to enhance 20% in the levels of the students' performance in international tests. And the indicator number 4 is to achieve 100% in qualifying the educational staff in a way that fulfills the future needs. Indicator number 5 is to achieve at least 20% increase in the investment in the field of education by the year 2024. And after that, 90% of gaining trust in the field of education regarding the services, educational services that are provided in the Emirate of Sharjah. Yes, trust is one of the key elements that we are working on improving and gaining. And then 20 annual partnerships aim to develop skills and to close the gaps between basic education, public education, university education, and the market. 100% of services that are provided in an unprecedented way and in an easy and a smooth way. And again, we repeat that yes, we can, together we can, and we will never ever accept but reaching the goals of a very ambitious vision. Thank you all, and peace be with you all. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed Shaban, for your word. To speak more about SPEA's strategy for the years 2022-2024, we now open the floor for the questions for our esteemed audience. And we have the educational expert, Mr. Abdullah Al-Marzuqi, and also the director of the continuous improvement, Mr. Ziyad Shatat, and the quality expert, Ms. Lahib Mutwalli, and Dr. Mr. Ahmed Shaban will coordinate the responses to the questions from the audience with the official speakers. Please go ahead. Okay, if you can allow me to pose a question, and I think one of the most important questions that might be going in the mind of a media representative, also in the minds of the audience. I think the question goes around how we can manage and deal with challenges or the opportunities that we have, and what is the future of education in the UAE. Allow me to pose this question to Mr. Riyad Shatat, the director of the Continuous Development Department. So peace be with you all, and I think that here we face many challenges in the field of education. One of these challenges is to achieve the goals or the objectives of sustainable development and comprehensive education, and also the goals of education in general. especially here in the Emirate of Sharjah. In the Emirate of Sharjah, I'm glad to say that we can transform all of these challenges into opportunities. And what makes us really distinguished here in the Emirate is that we have unlimited support from our wise leaders, starting from His Highness, the ruler of Sharjah. May Allah bless him and keep him safe. All the initiatives that you have mentioned are or act as a source or a form of unlimited support this clear support from His Highness. May Allah bless him and keep him safe. In addition to the collaboration and the endeavors exerted by all the private schools, universities, and institutional educational institutions, especially in the fields of inclusive education. It also guarantees and ensures the inclusion of people of determination or students of determination. We've also witnessed the collaboration and support of different educational institutions throughout the previous years or the past years to pass this hardship or difficult period of COVID-19. We worked together, we collaborated our efforts, we worked with the educational institutions. This cooperation is actually an opportunity that we have here in the Emirate of Sharjah. All what I wanted to say is that we can use these opportunities to make sure that we have the best outcomes and the best products of the educational process, to ensure that the educational framework, the current educational framework, is going to be in alignment with SPEA's strategy. Hello, peace be with you all. My name is Samar Murad, and I am the principal of the International School of Creative Science. I would like to thank you so much for this excellent meeting that we have today and for the ambitious vision. I wish you all the success in your endeavors to reach and to achieve the objectives of this ambitious vision. My question is directed to Mr. Ziad. Mr. Ziad, how do you see the role of the Principals Council of the schools in supporting SPEA to achieve this ambitious vision and priorities in the designated time? Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Samar. In fact, the role of the school's Principals Advisory Council, and we in SPEA are extremely keen to find a medium of communication between SPEA and the Principals Advisory Council. So I believe that the establishment of the Principals Council, and we're always keen to communicate, we as principals of schools are always keen to communicate with SPEA, as you are actually members of the family. And we always seek feedback from your side around all the decisions that we take at our schools. We claim the responsibility that whatever decision we take has to be approved by SPEA. And school principals council is a source of data, and we are always keen to make the principals council as well as SPEA principal or main partners in taking decisions. Make sure that there is a clear mutual vision. Make sure that we are taking the best decision. Therefore, I believe that this council is now expanding or in the stage of expansion to include all the principals. And we are sure that in the future there will be other other councils to ensure that we are still investing, and we are always investing in collecting and using information. You, Ms. Samar, are a strategic partner with us, and I can assure you that the schools of creative science are amongst our strategic partners. ما لدي سؤال. شكرا لكم، وأود أن أقدم لكم شكري وشكري الموصول طبعا والقائم لسمو الشيخ. طبعا برعاية سعادتها نحن نشعر بأننا نخطو بخطى إيجابية جدا. سؤالي موجها للسيد زياد. السيد زياد، نحن نتحدث عن المدارس المستقبلية، وما هو مصير المدارس في المستقبل؟ نحن نعرف أن الاستراتيجية واضحة ومهمة، طبعا وضع خارطة الطريق هي أيضا شيء مهم، وما هي الهيكلية وفي أي طريق سوف نسير. هذا هو الأمر الأول، ولكن الأمر الثاني هو في إطار تلك العملية. أعتقد أنه من المهم أن تعطى المساحة من الحرية لبعض من المؤسسات التعليمية، لأننا نواجه بعض من التحديات. فمما لا شك فيه أننا في خلال فترة الجائحة استطعنا تحويل جميع التحديات التي قد واجهتنا إلى فرص، وقمنا بتحويل التهديدات إلى نقاط إيجابية. الآن طبعا مع القرارات الجديدة، وهي أننا فقط ندرس 4 أيام في الأسبوع، فأعتقد من المهم أن تعطى لنا بعضا من الحرية أو مساحة من الحرية. فعلى سبيل المثال، لماذا لا نعطي بعضا من الفصول أونلاين، أو ندرس الفصول عبر شبكة الإنترنت مثلا في يوم السبت، ومثل تلك الأمور. لأن هناك نحن نعرف أهمية الاستراتيجية وأهمية اتباعها، ولكن هناك بعضا من الفجوات التعليمية، وينبغي علينا سد تلك الفجوات التعليمية. إذن فمن أجل استكمال طريقنا، فبدون شك هذا هو دور سبيا، فأنتم دائما تدعموننا، أنتم دائما تعملون معنا. ففي هذا الصدد نحن نود الحصول على بعض من الحرية يختص بمساحة المدرسة أو حجم المدرسة والمناهج التي تدرس والاختبارات المقدمة. فكما تعرفون إن الأمور تتغير على نطاق عالمي. قل هذه التغيرات ينبغي علينا أيضا أن نتخذ قراراتنا. إذن فهذه المساحة من الحرية التي نود من طرفكم أن تعطوها لنا أو للمدارس. شكرا لكم. Mr. Vermode is the principal of the Indian School of Sharjah, and he posed a question regarding the futuristic schools and the role of the leaders of schools. There is no doubt that this is a really, really essential topic and a very heated topic, especially after the revolution caused by COVID pandemic in the educational process in general. And here I would like to thank the pandemic of COVID that has actually accelerated the process or the development in the process of education, and that has deeply enhanced the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure of education. Our schools, this pandemic that has made our schools more flexible and more resilient, and made our schools more ready to deal with any emergency, whatever the level of emergency is. I would like to thank the pandemic of COVID that has taught us to continue, that education will continue regardless of all the circumstances and their difficulties. Now, due to the existence of this digital dimension, there has to be another vision for a futuristic school. The use of technology in education was just a supporting tool pre-COVID-19. However, now, in the period of post-COVID-19, digital education is becoming part and parcel of the educational process. We in SPEA are very much keen to continue in the same way and to continue using the best use of the digital platforms that you have already established during the pandemic, and to maintain using it the best way possible. During the period of the pandemic, we were actually dazzled by how fast and accelerated the educational system in the schools was. You have actually dazzled us with the quick and rapid change from traditional schools into digital schools. You all remember that COVID-19 started in March 2020. And in May of the same year, 2020, we have done an evaluation of the educational process and how it goes, and we were actually dazzled and surprised. All of our schools, all the schools that we assessed, were still providing education online. Schools were developed or partially developed. And there is no school in Sharjah has not been developed, which means that there is no school that could not provide education online. Means that all the schools have digital platforms and they are able to provide education digitally online within 2 months. And this evolution caused by COVID has happened and will continue to happen. So now we have digital schools, and now we are working on giving licenses to only digital schools. Hence, we can perhaps see in the very near future digital schools that provide educational services only online or digitally. And regarding your question about the school leaders, of course, we all know that a leader is the backbone of any school. The leadership has to be very wise in alignment with the future needs. So in the end, I can say that school is the institution of the community, or it's a community in itself that would enable the students to graduate and be fit for future jobs. Therefore, we as leaders have to draw a very clear roadmap to all the students that indicates how we want to see our students. Now, concerning the resilience part that you mentioned and the kind of support or the extra support that we need to provide to the schools. You, Dr. Pramod, you are actually a member in the Principals Council, and you know very well that the authority, SPEA, is very resilient and flexible, and we all seek gaining the trust of our partners because we all know that we have common goals, and we seek to achieve these goals or targets. SPEA authority is always with you, is always supporting you as long as we all seek to have better educational outcomes. I hope this has responded to your question. أهلا وسهلا وعمتم صباحا جميعا، وإنه من دواعي فخري أن أكون معكم هنا في هذا الحشد اليوم. أنا سؤالي يتضمن أو يختص أحد المعايير التي تتحدث عن زيادة الاستثمار في مجال التعليم. ما هو معنى أن هناك المزيد من المدارس التي سوف تفتتح، وما هو معنى أن نعطي امتيازات أكثر أو تسهيلات أكثر للمدارس التي هي موجودة بالفعل الآن؟ ما هي الجهود المتطلبة من أجل أن نجتذب عدد أكبر من الطلاب أو المتعلمين من الإمارات الأخرى لكي تأتي وتدرس هنا في إمارة الشارقة؟ نحن واثقون تماما من جهودنا التي نقوم ببذلها، ونحن واثقون أننا قادرون على تلبية احتياجات المتعلمين الذين سوف يأتون إلينا من الإمارات الأخرى. ما هي الجهود التي قد تبذل في نطاق هذه الاستراتيجية من أجل تحقيق هذا الأمر؟ Hello, peace be with you. Now, regarding the investment in the field of education, now we're actually investing in the field of developing the educational sector. We are currently conducting a study regarding the capacity of educational institutions that do exist in the Emirate, and also part of the study is about the need for more educational institutions in the Emirate. So now what we are working on is to attract the investors to invest in the field of education here in the Emirate. So to increase the number of schools, or even to increase the investment in providing facilities to the existing schools, we have decided a specific amount to the investor to go and invest it in a specific area of the two aforementioned areas. So we give the investors the drivers to increase their investment in this field. Okay, so what I can say now is that we are going to make the best use of data to open a new school or a new educational institution based on the need and based on future needs. So based on the data, we can decide if a specific area or district needs a specific educational institution, such as nurses or kindergartens, for example. Or another example, there could be a school that includes a group of specific ethnicity or nationality, for example, Asian students, which might form a bigger group of students than the other ethnicities or nationalities that exist in the school. Therefore, they might need a specific service or facility to be provided to them. There could be other groups of American, British, or any other nationality. So I would say that the investment will be completely directed according to the need of this educational institution. So the data is going to completely support the direction of the investment and the investor. Again, I reassure the importance of data, database, and the best use of data. So I think now we're moving to the last question, God willing. Thank you and bless you. I would like to ask about the readiness of SPIA to face future challenges. If you please allow me to direct this question to Sister Lahib Mitwalli, Director of the Office of Quality. Yes, would you kindly repeat the question? Yes, my question is about the readiness of Sharjah to face the challenges of the future. In fact, if this question was directed to me before 2 years, I would have said that we have no readiness at all for any future challenges. However, today, with full trust, I can definitely say that we are ready. And my evidence to this response are indicators that are known to all of us. As today, we as teachers and school staff are completely trained to present alternative plans in the field of education during emergencies or during pandemics. I hope that we will never go through pandemics again. So I would say yes, today, yes, we're actually ready. But in the past, it wasn't possible. We were not ready at that time. I would say that we have plans, we have alternative plans for risk management. And also we have alternative plans for closure of institutions, educational institutions, if we have to close. So the answer is yes, today we have plans based on trial. And we're ready for that very successfully. Today, if I ask, are the teachers trained? Can they actually deal with digital platforms or online platforms? I should say yes. Before, no, they were not ready, but today they are. Yeah, so I can say yes, today we have electronic platforms that we can all deal with professionally. So I can say that there are today many indicators. So we are ready in cooperation with all the relevant bodies with whom we have established channels of communication. We will enhance, we will foster this communication. If I want to speak about the plans in any educational system, these plans have to reflect the needs and the requirements of the needs of our partners. So whether it's the role of parents, the role of school leaders, or the community in general. So we're all together. We are all cooperating and working together, and we will continue to work together to ensure raising the quality of services provided and to provide this quick and accelerated response to all the new and upcoming events in the field of education. Now, do we have any final question? Yes, this is the strategy. So when are we going to see the operation put in place? So we are going to translate this strategy and put it in our plans. But of course, we're going to wait for your plans 100%. السلام عليكم. واحدا من أعظم النجاحات لسبيا وهيئة التعليم الخاص بالشارقة والتي كنا نلاحظها ونقوم بفعلها أن نركز على تقدم المدرسة ومدى تحقيق تلك القدرة الشاملة على أن تجتمع المدارس وتتعاون مع بعضها البعض مع أعضاء المؤسسات التي تحاول العمل على التطوير. وأيضا أنت مع فريقك يا سيد زياد ثم تحاولون تحسين جودة التعليم. هذا هو ما يجعل إمارة الشارقة مختلفة ومتميزة عن باقي الإمارات. هو ما يعطيها الصدارة. فأنا لدي بعض من زملائي الآخرين الذين يتطوقون لرؤية هذا التعاون الذي أشهده. فأنا أوجه سؤالي للسيد زياد: كيف ترون المستقبل والاتجاهات المستقبلية؟ شكرا لك دين. السيد دين Mr. Dean is the principal of International Victoria College. To thank you, Mr. Dean, for your question. And Mr. Dean is asking about the continuous development. And he's asking about the mechanism that took place during the previous 2 years, and how do we see this collaboration in our strategy. So I would actually say that this continuous development was one of the very first concepts that were directed to us at the beginning of the establishment of SPIA. It is actually my honor to be a member in the team that established SPIA. One of the words that was constantly repeated to us was improvement, development, and nothing but development and improvement. So improvement comes as the second objective of establishing the authority or SPIA. As the first objective was to regulate the private education. The second standard, objective, as I just mentioned, is to raise the quality and to improve schools. To improve the standard of schools. That was the reason behind the establishment of continuous development. As an administration that was established basically by SPIA. And we have appointed a group of international experts whose jobs are to continue monitoring, following up with, and supporting these schools. And we have actually distributed those experts according to their specializations in different curriculums in the Emirate. I should say that improvement is there. It does exist in the strategy as a goal and as a priority and as a direction. So to ensure the quality of life is a form of improvement. To ensure that the students have a good quality of life is a form of improvement. Also, if the teachers have a good quality of life, this will definitely be and directly be reflected on the students. And the second priority is to improve the quality of education and to improve the outcomes and to maintain the professional development of the school capabilities. So this is the second priority in our strategy. And the third priority is competitiveness. And this means that we are exposing our students to different types of educational experiences through using curriculums that are quite different from the curriculums that are taught in the Emirate. And this is added to these different curriculums are added to the curriculum to add a sort of enrichment to the learning experience that the students go through. Here in the Emirate, we have 11 different curriculums, and we are seeking to add more curriculums. This will let all the students be exposed to different experiences from different curriculums. If we consider the 8 performance indicators, we will see that there is a very real and clear challenge, not only for me, but also for my teamwork. I mean the team that works for SPEA, Sharjah Private Education Authority. And this challenge is how to improve and how to enhance the educational experience by a percentage of 70%. Indeed, it is a challenge, but we are up to this challenge and we are not alone because you are there, you are with us. You are main partners to us. And let me tell you or remind you that you were main partners in drafting this strategy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ziad. I think you have nearly answered my question. At first, I would like to thank SPEA for engaging us private schools and for giving us this chance to see the vision and the mission of SPEA here in this place, the place that embraces the clouds. I'd like to say that we have a very good goal, which is the improvement by 70% in the field of assessment in accordance with international standards or unified standards. Now, my question is, what are the expectations of SPEA from the school visits that are supposed to happen in May? And how will these visits, what are your expectations from us? How can we achieve or help in achieving the 70%? Thank you so much, Mr. Raed. Let me clarify a point in your question. When I said 70% of improvement, not 70% of improvement in the assessment system, or not 70% in the final result of assessments and tests. Exams. So let me say that we're speaking in general about the level of improvement that should happen in nurseries or KGs, at schools in general. We are speaking in general about improvement in the learning outcomes. So it's not directly connected with the exam results and marks or final exam results and marks. And regarding the second part of your question, assessments are always a tool to collect data that we can use to make our decisions and to improve and create our policies. If not for the assessments, I don't think we would have had any chance to get to know more about our schools and to identify the level of our schools. Therefore, we don't call it an assessment. We would rather call it a revision, and it is a joint work between us and the school leaders. So even the external assessment team always receive our recommendation to make it a joint and a support kind of collaboration between the team, the visiting team, and the school leaders. Assessment is a tool for development in the first place. So the team is not looking for mistakes or faults. They are actually looking for areas of improvement and development. So what we seek is how we can improve together. So in May, what we aim to find to make or to take a first step towards the comprehensive assessment that will help in making comprehensive improvement. I believe it is time for an update now, because as you may know that the pandemic has prevented us from conducting a comprehensive assessment to schools. We also know that there are schools that have been inaugurated recently, and we did not get the chance to know more about the details of these schools. Therefore, I can say that the inspection team visit in May is going to be a form of light revision, friendly revision, help and support schools in preparation for the bigger support will take place in the coming academic year. Partners and esteemed guests, thank you so much. Thank you for your presence, your attendance, and care. Partners and esteemed guests, thank you so much. Thank you for your presence, your attendance, and care. Promise that was launched or given by SPIA and focuses on building the capabilities of humans as a basis for work in the educational institutions in a way that suits future skills and in providing a healthy educational environment that is also secure and a distinguished, qualified educational staff. All of this require us all to be part of it. So as we all support us in our endeavors towards a better vision and a better future. Give distinguished education. Now I would like to invite you all to take a photo. And then you may all please proceed to write your own promises in the electronic board. To please swipe the QR code to get your copies of SPIA Strategy Guidebook for the year 2022-2024. And we promise to meet with you again in future events. Peace and blessings be with you all.